Hello friends, my name is Vinamra Mehta and this is my channel EcoMaster. Okay. As its name suggests, we are here to make you master in economics. Economics is a subject to understand. Learning is also important, but if you understand the basics of the economics, no one can stop you from making economics the easiest subject to you. And we are here to make it happen. So let's start. Today's topic of our video is chapter 1 of class 11, economics and economy. And the topics are what economics is about. Second topic, micro and macroeconomics. Third, positive and normative economics. Fourth, what is economy? Fifth, a simple economy. And the last but not the least, organization of economic activities. In the first topic, we will understand details about economics. Economics is just like a science. In economics also, you have to gather data, analyze it and make theories. Just like there are scientists in science, there are economists in economics that do the same kind of thing. That's why other name for economics is also, they call it soft science. Next topic, micro and macroeconomics. The major two type of economics are micro and macro. Micro, I think you understand the word micro, it means small, and macro, it means large. In detail, we will go when we talk about this topic. Third, positive and normative economics. I know you all know the meaning of positive. What about normative economics? Normative, you can understand it by what ought to be, what should be. So in detail we will go when we go to this topic. And fourth topic, what is economy? Economy, maybe some people know about it, some people not. Let me give a hint. Our country is an economy too. India is in economy, US is an economy, and many more. So think about it. When we go on this topic, I will make you understand it in detail. Fifth topic, a simple economy. A simple economy we will understand. In this, there will come another topic, a complex economy. So we will understand in detail both simple and complex economy. And last, organization of economic activities, in which the main topic is type of economies. As I told you, India is an economy. So there are different types of economies. India, I think, comes in mixed economy. So you can think of that, what kind of economy is India. Think about it. When we go to this topic, I will make you understand in detail. So guys, this is our first topic, what economics is about. There are three words here, economics, scarcity and choice. These are very important to understand about economics. First of all, let us think of some points. Human wants are unlimited. If you ask anyone, हमसे भी पूछोगे, if I ask you, middle class man, poor people, they will give you a very big list. We want this, we want that. Even if you go to a rich people, वो भी आपको बहुत बड़ी list provide कर देगा. He can give you a very big list too. So human wants are unlimited, even for we people, even for rich people. So, but are there much resources available to fulfill our wants? No, resources are limited. That's the word scarcity means. It refers to a situation when what you have, in other words, scarcity implies a situation when supply of resources is less than its demand. Okay? There are very much demand for a particular good, but the goods are limited because the resources to produce them are limited. So it refers to scarcity. That means limited resources in a small manner, you can say. So how can we fulfill our needs? Economics इसमें help करता है. It helps in that. See, it is a science. As I told you before, economics is a science of human behavior concerned with the allocation of scarce resources. Scarce means in such a manner that consumer can maximize their satisfaction. Not even consumer wants to maximize their satisfaction. Producers also want what they want. They want to maximize their profits. And what the society wants? The society wants to maximize its social welfare. But how can we do that? As we know, our resources are limited. So we use the process of economics to make choices. Here comes the word choice. It refers to a process of selection from activities. Available resources are limited. Why and what's the problem there? Resources are scarce, but the second point is they have limited resources are limited. But the second point is resources can be allocated to alternative uses. If I can give you an example, think about iron. आयरन को आप कहाँ कहाँ यूज कर सकते हो? They can be used to make machines, or they can be used to make many different things. That's why. But iron is limited. So where should we use it? Should we use it to make consumer goods, or should we use it to make producer goods? Producer goods are the goods used by the producers to make things like machinery. Consumer goods are that we people consume in our daily life. Okay, so that's why economics help in this thing to make choices. These type of since scarcity of resources is available, okay, so we have to make choices, such type of choices, so that we can maximize our social welfare, maximize our welfare, not only social welfare. That's the process of economics. So finally we can say scarcity causes choices. Choices implies decision making, and decision making should be done in such a manner that limited resources should be used in such a manner so that we can maximize our welfare. For as I told you before, consumer want to maximize their consumption, producer their profit, and society their social welfare. Okay, so that's it. In our first topic, we understand what is economics. So there are two types of economics here: microeconomics and macroeconomics. As I told you before, micro means small, chota, and macro large. So let us study both of them. Microeconomics. It studies economic relationship or problem at a level of individual, an individual firm or household or consumer. यानी कि इकोनॉमिक्स को पढ़ना स्मॉल लेवल पे, पर पर्सन पे, या when we understand economics at the level of an individual firm, an individual person, and industry, that is microeconomics. But when we go on a large level, it studies economics relationships or problems at a level of an economy as a whole. When we take an industry, not an industry, lots of industries that cover the whole nation, then it comes under macroeconomics. You can say full nation, full economy. Okay. Second point for microeconomics, it's basically concerned with the determination of output and price for an individual firm or industry. It briefly refers to as theory of price. Have you heard when price go up, an individual person purchase less, and when the price goes down, we purchase more? That theory came from microeconomics. See, I was talking about an individual person, एक सिंगल पर्सन के बारे में. अब हम जब डिसाइड कर रहे हैं, कैसे डिसाइड किया हमने कि जब प्राइस ऊपर जाएगा तब लोग कम खरीदेंगे. That's basically our choice, and we understood it by taking many examples of microeconomics. Okay, and in macroeconomics, it's basically concerned with the determination of aggregate output. Like I said, in my microeconomics, we read theory of demand, supply, and in macroeconomics, we are talking about aggregate, not demand, aggregate demand. That means demand of whole nation. So we talk about aggregates, and general price level, not the price level of a particular firm or a particular industry. It's the whole general price level of a whole nation. Okay, in the economy as a whole, or full economy as a whole. It's briefly related to the theory of income and employment. So the other name for briefly we talk about microeconomics as theory of price. As I told you, theory of demand related to theory of price only. That if price increase, demand goes down. And in macroeconomics, it's basically referred to as income and employment. When we talk about employment, we talk about employment of a whole nation, how many persons are employed and not. When we have to find about these things, we go for macroeconomics. Third point, its study assumes that macro variables remain constant. How can we say that when price goes up and demand goes down? We have to take all other factors constant. There are many factors which influence price, not only just with demand. फॉर एग्जाम्पल डिमांड को इन्फ्लुएंस करने के लिए बहुत से फैक्टर्स होते हैं, खाली प्राइस ही नहीं, एज वी ऑल नो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट अस टेक एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ टी एंड कॉफी. You know, they are properly substitutes. Sometimes we drink tea, sometimes we drink coffee. Suppose the price of coffee increase very much. What will people do? Do you think they will go for coffee again? No, they will shift to tea. So demand of tea increased. But tea के price में तो कोई change नहीं है, फिर भी उसकी demand increase हुई. So that's why we are saying we take other variables constant, and most of probably we take macro variables constant. For example, it is assumed that aggregate output is given. As I told you, aggregates come in macroeconomics. So we are taking aggregate output as given or constant while we are studying the determination of output and price of an individual firm. Okay, when we go for an individual firm, we are taking aggregate output constant, so that we are able to find the output of a firm, how much it can produce, or the price of a firm. And for macroeconomics, its study assumes that micro variable remains constant. Let us take an example. How? It is assumed that determination of income remains constant. Distribution of income remains constant when we are studying the determination of aggregate output. So as I told you before, in macro we study mostly aggregates. So when we are studying aggregate output and income, we take micro variables like distribution of income, how income is distributed among firms, take it into common. Okay. Fourth and last point, market forces for microeconomics. Market forces are basically demand and supply. Okay, in the market of a particular product or service and all. So market forces play a significant role in the context of microeconomic problems, like problems of product pricing or problem of factor pricing, etc. For example, if the demand for a product is going very up, people are demanding it very much, but there is not much supply, what will happen? The prices will go up. When the prices will start rising, the demand for the product will go down, and finally demand will be equal to supply. If demand is very much, if you increase the supply, the prices will go down, and finally it will become stable. So market forces play a very important role in product pricing and factor pricing. Same goes for factors also. Okay, so we will study in detail further when we go in further chapters. And in macroeconomics, government policies, basically two types of policies, monetary and fiscal policies. Fiscal policies are basically the policies made by our government, and monetary policies, these policies are made mainly by, in India, they are made by Reserve Bank of India, RBI. These are to control, these plays significant role in the context of macroeconomic problems. problems like unemployment, poverty, inflation. Think if unemployment increases, government make many policies like Manrega was a policy for employment, and monetary policies are policies by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. These are related to mainly, I think, inflation, to change the money supply of money in the market and all. So in detail we will study about them in the future. Now think of this as normal policies of RBI, monetary policy and fiscal policies of government. So as I told you before, to control employment, you have heard many policies by government. To control poverty, there are many policies made by government to give them jobs so that the poor people can get employment, they can earn money and all. And that's all. So these 4 points, they can act as your difference between micro and macroeconomics, and if you want to learn about them particularly, each one of them you can learn from here also. So they can act both as a difference or definition and explanation for both microeconomics and macroeconomics. And here is our third topic, guys: positive and normative economics. This is also a way to differentiate economics in two ways: positive and normative. I think you know the meaning of positive क्या होता है, लेकिन यहाँ पे इसका मीनिंग कैसे हम यूज करेंगे देखेंगे उसको डिटेल में. About normative, it includes what ought to be, as I told you before. So let's start with positive economics. Do anybody have any idea what is positive economics? If no, then let's go with the starting. Positive economics, it deals with issues related to past, present and future. All the statements in economics are related to past, present and future. Second, statements of positive economics relate to what was, यानी कि in the past क्या था, what is, that is present, what is now, and the future, what would be. So with the help of the past, the present, we come with a future explanation in many ways. Its statements are not necessarily a statement of truth, can be true or false. See, as I told you before, we analyze the past, go for the present and make some decision for future also. Not the decision, statement for future. For decisions related to what should be, we will go in normative. So what would be in the future, so it can be true or it can be false. Or for some common example, if we don't go for past, present, future, take an example. Somebody say population of India is more than China. It is a positive statement, but it's wrong and we can verify it. See, facts and figures are verifiable for truth. So if the statement is true, we have to check the facts and figures so that we can decide whether the statement is true, it is verifiable or not. We can use these facts and figures in positive statement. See, so it doesn't involve judgment. That's the final point. Let's go with an example, उससे आपको जो है ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. So these are the points related to positive statements. So positive economics deal with issues related to past, present and future. It deals with such economic situations which can be stalled by using facts and figures. Okay, and in normative it is basically what ought to be, क्या होना चाहिए, इधर क्या है, क्या था और क्या होगा. So this is the basically main difference. Okay, it doesn't involve judgment. So these are the points that explain positive statement. So जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, let's go with an example. These statements are given. On the eve of independence, poverty in India affected largest percentage of population than now. ये हमने पहले का बताया, what was, now 22% ऑफ पॉपुलेशन इन इंडिया इज एब्सोल्युटली पुअर। ये हमने एट प्रेजेंट का बताया कि जो पॉपुलेशन में चेंजेस की वजह से है उससे पॉवर्टी पे क्या इफेक्ट हुआ। एंड इन फ्यूचर if population in India continues to grow at existing rate, the percentage of population below poverty line will exceed 22% in the year 2022. These are some examples. इससे हमें पता चलता है ये पॉजिटिव स्टेटमेंट है। हमने पहले क्या था, अब क्या है एंड क्या होगा, इसमें हमने फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स को वेरीफाई किया और उसके बाद पे हमने बताया कि क्या पॉजिटिव स्टेटमेंट होगी। Okay. Now, normative economics. Let's read about that. It deals with opinions of economists related to economic issues and problems. उसमें हम let's see पॉजिटिव में हमने देखा हम अपना कोई ओपिनियन नहीं देते थे, हम फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स पे जाके पता लगाते थे। In this, the economists give their opinions about something. Next. Its statement relates to what ought to be. Their opinions are about what should be, what ought to be. Like if we are making a policy, for example, a policy named Manrega came for employment. So they gave their opinions about it. Now let's read next statement. Its statement can't be termed as true or false. अब उन्होंने अपनी पॉलिसी बनाई, अब वो पॉलिसी सही में काम करेगी या नहीं करेगी हम पता नहीं लगा सकते, बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव एनी फैक्ट्स, दे आर बेस्ड ऑन ओपिनियंस, सो वी कांट टेल इफ दे आर ट्रू और फॉल्स। दीज स्टेटमेंट्स इन्वॉल्व ओपिनियंस ओनली। ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल somebody say old age pension should be stopped, it's an opinion only, no one will be able to know कि अगर उसको स्टॉप कर दिया तो फ्यूचर में क्या होगा उससे। ओके, एंड फाइनली its statements are not verifiable at all. We can verify the statements of positive because we have facts and figures, but these are opinions of economists. They think about them. तो हम कोई वेरीफाई नहीं कर सकते कि उनकी स्टेटमेंट ट्रू है या फॉल्स है या उसका क्या रिजल्ट निकलेगा फ्यूचर में। एंड फिफ्थ, it involves value judgment. These are the judgment made by the economist. So these are the points that explain normative economics. Let's go for some statements. For example, as I told you before, Manrega. Manrega was a policy, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. This was saying that it will one day bring an end to the problem of unemployment in the country. Manrega is just a program of financial aid to the unemployment people in rural India. Beneficiaries of Manrega will remain as unproductive workers. Manrega uses taxpayers' money and should therefore be stopped. Manrega should not be pursued unless it ensures asset creation in the economy. And all these statements are of normative economics, normative statements. These are mainly opinions of some economists. They are not based on some facts or figures. These statement involves only value judgment. These statement leads to controversies and debates. Okay, so these statements indicate opinions and are therefore not verifiable for truth. These are just opinions of the economists. These statements reflect what ought to be and what should be. क्या होना चाहिए उससे रिलेटेड में ये स्टेटमेंट बनाई गई है एंड these were acted as a solution to economic problems. So normative economics are to solve the economic issues and problems by making opinions what should be, what ought to be, and with the help of these they can make policies and all. So these are positive. So our fourth topic is what is an economy. As I told you before, we live in an economy. So let's go with the definition and understand how we live in an economy. People perform different economic activities to earn their living, to earn their livelihood. What are economic activities basically? Let's go with an example. Teachers go to school to earn, doctors go to hospital, provide their services and earn, farmers go to field, and industrialists to industries. All of these people earn their livelihood through working. The nature and level of economic activities performed by the people of an area would reveal a system by which people of an area earn their living. So it tells that the nature and level of economic activities that we all people perform. सारे किसी ना किसी तरह की economic activities perform करते हैं. Why? To earn their living, to earn their livelihood. And ये एक system reveal करता है जैसे जिससे जो उस area के people है वो अपनी living को earn करते हैं. This system is called economy. That's basically economy. Fifth topic is a simple economy. First of all, we learned about economy in the previous point. Now let's go to the points before going to these two topics. Mutual independence and exchange. As I told you before, every people do different kinds of work. Can you do all kind of work by yourself? A teacher can only teach. Mutual independence. A student have to be dependent on the teacher for education. Exchange. A person can't make everything by himself, so he have to first give his service to someone. For example, teacher का ही मैंने example लिया, उससे पहले एक student को पढ़ाना पड़ेगा, फिर वो earn करेगी तो वो जो उसने earn किया उससे वो exchange कर सकती है goods. So mutual independence and exchange are the core elements of an economy, because we cannot produce and do all things by ourselves. We need to be dependent on other people. Interdependence is very important in an economy. उसी की वजह से अगर interdependence हुई तभी जो है economy अच्छे से grow कर पाएगी. So what about simple and complex economy? First of all, let's not go to the first point. Let's go from last. Degree of exchange is moderate. Why degree of exchange is moderate? Because mutual independence is limited. In simple economy, they do not depend on each other very much, because their wants are multiple. They want lot of things, but not enormous. Very much enormous. Enormous means large. उनकी wants इतनी large नहीं है कि जैसी wants किसी अमीर की होती है. They are satisfied with their needs only. Small needs. They don't want like I want a Mercedes car and something like that. अगर उन्हें food मिल गया, 2 वक्त की रोटी मिल गई, they are satisfied. That's why wants are multiple but not very large. रही बात complex economy में, wants are multiple as well as enormous. The wants there are very large. That's why if their wants are very large, enormous, they have to be depend on other people. So mutual dependence here is very high. Since mutual dependence is very high, so degree of exchange is also very high. They exchange in a very large way. So in a simple economy, income level of people is low, while in complex economy, income level of people is high. So these are 6th topic and our last topic, organization of economic activities. Types of economies. Economic activities, the activities of production, consumption, investment and exchange are basically controlled by the government or central government, you can say, but these depend on different ways. The level of power, how much they can control. For example, in countries like China, government has fully control. These are the economic where economic activities are firmly controlled by the government or some central authority. These are called controlled economy or centrally planned economy. In some economies, the market forces control. In these economies, economic activities are controlled by the market forces. Market forces, what are these? Basically, the forces of demand and supply. So the government has no control over. Basically, very little control over them. So these are called free economy or market economies. But the third here the example come of US and UK. The final economy and the type of economy, as I told you before, India is a mixed economy. In these economic activities are governed by the free play of market forces. There is a free play of market forces of demand and supply, but are regulated by the government. The government regulated. So these are called mixed economics. So in a centrally planned economy, economic divisions are driven by the motive of social welfare. Since it is controlled by the government, so they think about social welfare first. In free or market forces or market economy, economic decisions are driven by the motive of profit maximization. Think about it yourself. Every private person will want to maximize his profit, so it's driven by the motive of profit maximization. But in mixed economy, there are both government and private, so economic decisions are driven by the motive of both private maximization and social welfare. The private person thinks of profit maximization, but the government helps in social welfare too. And the last, in a centrally planned economy, the consumer is not sovereign. That is, the consumer don't have full power of what should be produced in the economy. The central authority decide what to produce for the people. While in market economy, the consumer is sovereign. He buys goods according to his own choice. Consumer is the master, as we have heard in economics. The market forces of demand supply. सब लोग ही कहते हैं कंज्यूमर बादशाह है मार्केट का. And in mixed economy, the consumer is sovereign here also. Here the consumer is the master, but public distribution system ensure the supply of essential goods to the consumer. In the private sector, the consumer are sovereign, so they can produce whatever they want, but for essential commodities like some type of food that are needed for the people, the public distribution system PDS ensures that they are available for the consumer. Controlled economy or centrally planned economy, most resources are controlled by or owned by the government. It decides at what prices the goods or services to be sold in the market. Whereas in free or market economy, most resources are controlled by the people. Market determines prices of goods and services by market forces, as told you before, demand and supply. In mixed economy, whereas resources are controlled both by government and people, prices are determined by the market, but government regulates and controls the prices of essential goods. In controlled economy, public sector dominates economic activities, whereas in free or market economy, private sector dominates it. And in mixed economy, both public and private sector dominate the economic activities. And here is the end of the chapter. So guys, if you like this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe my channel EcoMaster, and please share it as much as you can, like it, subscribe it, so that I can make many more videos like this. If you like it, please.